Hello my friends, today we're learning B'Basra Daf Kuf Mem Tes. We're going to start Kuf Mem Ches on the base, 2 lines up. Amar Rav Sheshet, Yitol v'yiske v'yachzik v'yikne kulan lashon matana. הן, במתנית המתנה אף יחסין ויראת, בראוי ליהושע ורבי יוחנן ברוקאי. יבוא אלוהו, קמ"ט עמוד א', ייהנה בהן מהו. דניחה וכולו מתנה כאמר, או דילמה לטענה מנאי ומידי כאמר, יראה בהן מהו, יעמוד בהן מהו, יישען בהן מהו תיקו. So the Gemara starts with Rav Sheshet saying that when a Shchibmara gives away a matana, you can say it in Lashon of Itoil, he should take, and he should be Zoicha, and he should be B'yachzik. V'ikne, all these are good Lashon for Shchibmara. And in the Brisa it says that even the Lashon of Yachsin V'iras, that's Lashon Yerusha, also works when the person, the Shchibmara, is giving it to someone who's could be Yarshanim, like his sons. And he says, I want Reuven to get Yichsan, everything of my Nechosim, so it works. And it goes, said the Gemara, Lefi Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika, that you could give one son more than the other sons. Says the Gemara, Shaila, Kufim Tesam Udalef, if someone says, Yehene Behen, I want to, Reuven should be Yehene, should enjoy my field. Do we say that it means he should have it fully and he should enjoy it? Or does it mean they should have some enjoyment from it, but it doesn't mean they should give it to him a full present? Says the Gemara, what to do if he said, another shaila, if he said he shall be seen in them, in these nechosim, or he should stand on these nechosim, or he should lean on these nechosim, is that lashon matana or not? Says the Gemara, teiku, and as I always like to say, tishbi, yetaretz, kushias, veiboyes, bimera, be'ameinu, amen. Continue the Gemara, iboilahu. מחר כל נכסיו מהו? אמר רב יהודה אמר רב אם עמד אינו חוזר, וזימנים אמר רב יהודה אמר רב אם עמד חוזר, ולא פליגי עד האיתני לזוזי בעיניו עוד הפרינו בחובו. So the Gemara says, what a shaila. We learned that if someone gives matnas chimera all his possessions away as a present and he leaves himself something, even if he gets better, he doesn't keep everything. He doesn't get it back. But if he gave all his nechosim away and he never kept anything for himself, if he gets better, he could get back those presents. Says like, well, what's the din? If he didn't give it as a present, he sold his nechosim and he got cash from them. What's the din? So says the Gemara, Rav Yudah and Omar Rav, one place he said, if he gets better, he doesn't get back the nechosim. And other times he said that if Rav Yudah, in the name of Rav, that if he gets better, he does get back the nechosim. And said the Gemara, it's not machloikis what Rav said. It's talking about different circumstances. Depends. If the money is still existing, so that means why did he keep the money by him? Because he wanted to make sure that if he gets better, he can pay the buyer back the money and get back his possessions. So he gets back his possessions. Obviously, he needs to pay him the money that the guy paid him. And if he paid off his loans with it, and there's no money left, so the land stays by the people he sold it to, because it's clear that the reason why he sold the land is to pay off his loan, and he paid off his loan, and therefore, even though that he got better, he doesn't get back the land because the reason why he sold it, because he wanted to pay back off his loan. Says more another shaila. Ibailo shchibra shodamau tashma de iser giura avale treser al vizuze berava. Ramar librei oroto shelo b'kedusho veladoto b'kedusha have. Beirav have. Amar Rava, eichin ikninu Rav Mari la'anizuzi. I b'Yerushala b'Yerusha have. I במתנה מתנה שכימר כירושה שם ברבונם, כל איכד איתה בירושה איתה במתנה, כל איכד לתה בירושה, לתה במתנה. I במשיחה לתנו גבי, I בחליפין אין מטבע נקנה בחליפין, I אגב קרקע לת לערה, I במעמד שלושת המשולח ללא הדין לה. מתקיף לרב איקה ברי דרב עמי, ימי ולא דאיסר דלין זוזי דרב מרי נינו לקנינו פודיטה. עד האחי נהפק אודיתם באיסור איקבד רבא ואמר כמה גמרי טענת לאינשי ומפסדלי. So the Gemara says a shaila, what's the din? If Shchimera never gave a present to Reuven, he said, I admit that these possessions that everyone knows that belong to the Shchimera belong to Reuven. Didn't say I'm giving it to him now. I admit that it belongs to him. He was moida that belongs to him. And until now we assumed we was muchzit that belonged to the Shchimera. What's the din? Said the Gemara, bring your Aryeh of the story of Issa, who was a ger, and he had 12,000 zuz in the house of Rava. And Issa, this ger had a son whose name was Rav Mari. and Rav Mori, he was concealed when Issa was still a goy, but he was born after he was Mizgaya. So, and he was learning in the Bei Rav, in the house of Rav. So Omar Rava had this 12,000 zuz by him, and he said, how is it possible that Issa should be makne to his son? That's not really a son because he was concealed already when he's still a goy. How should he be makne to his son Rav Mori? If by Yerusha once Issa dies or Mori be koine, he's not by Yerusha because when he got pregnant, his son Issa was a goy, so we'd no miyaches him after Issa. There's no shaykhs, he doesn't yarshin him. If he gives it to matona, what type of matona, matna shchimera, it doesn't help. Because matna shchimera, it works like Yerusha. And since this son can't be yarshin because he's a ger doesn't have Yerusha from anyone, so therefore he's not in the parsha of matna shchimera. If he's going to give him b'meshicha, let him do a kinyan on the money. Let Mori do a kinyan on the money. Says Rava, he can't. He's not over there. The money's by me. He can't do meshicha on it. If he wants to be maknet bechalipin, matbea is not nikne bechalipin. You can't do a swap. You could say, oh, Mori gave Issa something, and chalipin today got the coins. No, matbea is not nikne bechalipin, as we learned in Baba Mitzia. If agav karka that Issa was makne to Mori, his son, a land, and agav that he was makne him the money, we know that Issa has no error. Even Ma'amad Shloshtam, we learned early on that if three people, like in such a case, Rava, who owes the money to Issa, that's called by him, they all stand in the same room together with Mori, so Issa could say, the money that you owe me, Rava, give it to Issa, and it works straight away, we said. Says Rava, if Issa's going to call me, I ain't going there, because I want this money. So Rav Ika, the son of Rav Ami, asked the Kasha and Rava, what are you talking about? Let Issa be moida that it belongs to Mori. He should say, oh, I admit that this money really doesn't belong to me, it belongs to Mori. And from here we could see that being moida, our shaila, if the Mishchimera is moida, it works even without the kinyan, because this is what the Gemara asked, this is what Rav Ika, the son of Ramami, asked. Obviously it's obvious how it all works. So that's a right to what we wanted to say. So again, he asked, let him be moida that this money that belongs to Mori, and let him Mori be koina with this oidah. Meanwhile, this shaila brought up, so Issa was moida, came out a voice from Issa's house that he's moida that this money belongs to Issa. Sorry, this money belongs to Mori. So Rava got upset and he said, I teach the tinus to people what they could have tined, and they make me lose because I brought this up and we discussed it, and this one asked the kasha. Issa found a trick to get away around that I should get these nechosim, because if he wouldn't know about this idol that Rav Ika asked, Issa wouldn't know to do it, and therefore Issa, when he'd pass away, obviously probably Issa was ill, I would get as a hefka all these 12,000, but now it's going to go to Mori. What's very interesting, so we can see from here the idea of a shchimera works. What's very interesting is, well, Rava sounds like a bit of a crooky thing. Someone gave you a pikodon, and now he's dying, and you're trying to keep it for yourself instead of giving it to his son. I understand it's not his son of Pitorah, because when he got pregnant, he wasn't his father. When he was born, he was already a ger. Sounds to me, doesn't sound like the most herrliche thing to do. I don't know the answer to that. Said the Gemara Daf Kuf Mem Tes Amud Beis. Shir karka כלשהו מתנות הקיימת, וכמה כלשהו אמר רב יהודה אמר רב קרקע כדי פרנסתו. אבירמיה ברא באמר מטלטלים כדי פרנסתו. אמר רב זירא כמה מכוון שמטה דסבי קרקע תממה דאיקאי סמיך עליהם, מטלטלים נמי איקאי סמיך עליהם. מתקיף לרב יוסף ומאי כוונתה מאן דאמר מטלטלים קרקעתנן, מאן דאמר כדי פרנסתו, כל דרושו הותנן. אמר לאביי וכל איכד הקטני קרקע דווקא, והתנן הכותב כל נכסיו לעבדו יצא בן חורין, שיהיה קרקע כלשהו לא יצא בן חורין. בשומין אומר לעולם הוא בן חורין עד שאומר כל נכסיי נתונים לפלוני עבדי, חוץ מאחד מריבו שבהם. קופנון, ואמר עבדי מבר יוסף, אמר רב אליעזר, עשו מטלטלים שיעור אצל עבד ולא עשו מטלטלים שיעור אצל כתובה. הטעם בדינו דלא ליתני קרקע והדיתני רישא רבי עקיבא אומר קרקע כלשהו חייבת בפאה בביקורים ולכתוב עליהם פרוסבול ולקנות עמו נכסים שאין החיים בכסף ושטר חזקה משום אחי קטני קרקע. וכל איכה דתני, okay, we're going to leave this part for the next year. So the Gemara brings, Kufman Tesov and Beis, the Gemara brings that we said in the Mishnah that if Shchimera gave a present to someone and he left himself karka, it says kolshu, any piece of land to himself, and then instead of dying like he expected to die, he got better, he could not get his present back. Why? Because we say the reason why he left karka, because he was on the condition that he won't die, they should have something. Okay, so you have something and you don't get back your present that you gave. So how much, says the Gemara, how much, v'kamo, how much land does the person need to leave for himself that's considered that he can't get back his matona? So Rav Yehuda in the name of Rav says, a karka enough that he could live off. That's a karka kolshu, not mamish kolshu, even a little bit. Enough that he could live off. Rav Irmiyah, the son of Rav Abba, says, even not karka, even if it's metaltalim, if it's enough to live off, it's already enough of a reason that the present that he gave is final, and even if he got better and he didn't die, he can't get it back. Said Rab Zera, how beautiful, how connected, how correct are these words of these old people. That means these two things that we just said. The land, what's the whole reason if you left land? It's considered that you don't get back your present is because you have soymech das on it. That means he was soymech, that even if he gets better, he still left for himself something. Therefore, also metaltalim nami, it's good enough. It doesn't have to be specially karka. If you have enough to be soymech on it to live off, it's good enough, and you could. We say the matona is kept if the shchimera left for himself matona enough to live off. So Rabbi Aryeh said how beautiful it is what these two sabbas said. Matki for Rabbi Yosef, so Rabbi Yosef has a kash on this. What's so great about what he said? It's not correct. The one who said that's okay metaltalim, in our Mishnah it says karka, not metaltalim. And the one who said that it has to be not kolshu, it needs to be enough to live off, that this karka needs to be a live off. In our Mishnah it says kolshu. Kolshu means any piece of land. How are you telling me that it means kedei parnasosoy? So Abaye told Rav Yosef, you are telling me that it says in the Mishnah karka means dafka karka no metaltalim. Is it true that every time where it says karka in the Mishnah means karka and not metaltalim? I bring you a raya, not like this. It said in the Mishnah that someone who gives all his possessions to a slave, so Yotzo ben Chorin, his slave becomes free because one of his possessions is his slave. So that means he's giving his slave, that means he's making his slave free, and therefore his slave becomes a free man. But if he gave all his possessions to the slave, and he left one piece of land, like it says karka kolshu, we say, he's not yoytze l'chorin. This Eved's not yoytze l'chorin because we assume that the land that he meant, that he's leaving the Eved because Eved is hukash to karkoy, to the hekesh, and therefore the land he means the Eved, that means he's giving everything except of the Eved, that means he's giving nothing, he's just trying to make him happy. Rab Shimon argues and he says, no, even if he left one land, if it's a specific land, the slave becomes ben chorim because he means to say all the land and yourself becomes yours except of that piece of land. The only way where he doesn't become a ben chorim is in the case where he said everything's yours to the Eved, except of 1 in 10,000 of them, and he didn't specifically say which 1 in 10,000. So then we assume he means to say except of the land that's worth like that, except of the Eved that's worth like that, and therefore the Eved's not yoytze l'chorim because I can't give Eved anything. Mashikon Eved kon rabbi. If I left the Eved to the master, so even if he gave the Eved everything, it all belongs to the master, and therefore the Eved's not going to anything. Continue the Gemara Daf Kufnun, and on that Rav Dimi, the son of Rabbi Yosef, said in the name of Rabbi Loza that this din of leaving, if you left a karka and you never gave it to the slave, it's considered they know leaving the Eved's not meshucher. It's not dafka karka, it's also metaltalim. Also metaltalim shir tel Eved, that means very good karka, we said it's considered if you left a slave. Why? Because metaltalim, because avodim hukshen karkoi. So when he means to say except of a karka, he means except of this eved. But says Rav Yosef, Rav Dimi, the son of Rav Yosef, and the name of Rav Lozo, that people literally, eved is also metaltelim. He moves from place to place. Very good in halachas, it has dinei karka, but it's metaltelim. So if he said, I'm giving you, my slave, all what I have, except of some metaltelim, we assume, like we said by karka, they mean to say which metaltelim, the slave himself, and therefore he's not koine anything, and he's not yoitzel echirus. Continues Rav Dimi, and he says, but this din of, though we didn't say that karka, though we're saying metaltelim is like karka, that's not applicable by a ksuva. Though we said early on, we learned this not so long ago, that if a man gave his sons all his nechasim, and he gave a little kolshul to his wife also, and we said that it's talking about with the wife standing there and she sees all this happen and she's willing to accept this karka, that means she's moichel the ksuva, that means she knows that she won't be toivea ksuva from the nechasim that he's giving his kids. Because we explained that he's shutaf bein upon him, etc. We learned to know not so long ago. So we're saying that then applies, or we say that if he gave the woman a small piece of land that she can't be to the ksuva, that's dafka by a land, and no metaltelim. Because ksuva, ika gvias ksuva is from karkois and not from metaltelim. So therefore, if he gave all his nechosim to his sons and he gave his wife a little bit of metaltelim, then we don't say that she loses a ksuva. Okay, but we can see over here clearly, the Mishnah says karka, and we say that doesn't mean dafka karka. So it says Abaye to Rav Yosef, why are you telling me because the Mishnah says karka means dafka karka? So Rav Yosef answered to Abaye, no, it's very different. Over there in the case about the slave, really, he shouldn't have said karka at all. He should have said, metaltelim, that's enough that he left not giving a present to his eved. Metaltelim, it means the eved's not yitzel echirus. But I'll tell you why we said karka over there, because in the ratio over there it says, the Rabbi Akiva says, that any piece of land has special dinim. First of all, it's chayv bepil, that even if it's a tiny land, then you have to leave one corner to the aniyim in Peah, like we say every morning, eile dvarim she'ein lehem shira. Peah doesn't have a shir. Ubikurim, and if there's one little tree on it and you have the first fruit, you have to bring out bikurim to Beit HaMikdash. And you could write on your prosbul to get away out of Shemitah, that Shemitah won't be Meshabet the Alva, as we learned a few times already in Baba Basra. And you could do a kinyan to be koine nechosim she'eno imachraya. So we say this kinyan agav, that agav karka you be koine nechosim metaltelim. That you bekesef b'shtar chazaka, that means once you koine this little land bekesef or b'shtar or b'chazaka, how land's nikna, you be koine agav that metaltelim, even a tiny piece of land. So since Rabbi Akiva said karka kolshu, so also by us when we're speaking about this din of vishir karka kolshu, that's why it says karka. But really it means metaltelim, but we use the lashon karka because in the ratio you use karka. But over here, that there's no reason to use a lashon karka, v'shir karka kolshu. It must mean, says Rabbi Yosef, that karka is dafka karka, no metaltelim. Over there, karka because of the ratio, but really doesn't mean karka. But if you use karka in a context where we never spoke about karka, it means specifically karka and not metaltelim. And therefore, what the Shabi said that it could be also metaltelim is not correct, says Rabbi Yosef. Thank you very much. We should be zocher to remember this, to do chazor on this, and to continue learning very well. Thank you very much.